this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Work can be a little weird. Cringy training seminars, coworkers who won't stop talking about their plant, forgetting the mute button at an inopportune moment. We have to deal with a lot on any given workday. Sometimes it can feel hard to thrive and move forward in your career. Well, that's where LinkedIn comes in. LinkedIn helps you get ideas and insights from experts in your field, connect with people professionally, grow your network, and access tools designed to help you find the right fit for your next role. Whether you're just getting started, figuring out your next move, or looking to accelerate your career, LinkedIn is built to support you at every stage because LinkedIn is the network that works for you. Visit linkedin.com/knowstuff to learn more. Hey, and welcome to The Short Stuff. I'm Josh, and there's Chuck, and Jerry's here too, and so is Dave and Spirit, and we're coming at you from the future of right now.
This is one of those where it's so interesting, so cool, so mind-blowing, and so promising, and then you get to the very end, and then you're like, oh.
To me, that just meant just give it a little more time.
No, and a lot of times that is the case, and probably will be in this case, but it was such a, oh. Right. And you'll see what in about 12-ish minutes what we're talking about.
So essentially what we're talking about first is data. We've got a lot of data. Like anytime somebody says something, thinks something, writes something down, somebody comes up with a new recipe or a new patent or whatever that gets encoded. It's data that gets saved. We don't really throw stuff away anymore. And so we're kind of awash in data. And if you want to take that data and you want to save it, you want to preserve it, let's say it's really important, like you're the Library of Congress.
Sure.
Get this, man. I did not realize this. What you do is you take that data and you transfer it onto the same kind of magnetic reels that those old room-size computer mainframes used to read and write data.
Yeah, you put it on tape.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I didn't realize that, but it's just the proven go-to means of long-term, it's called archival storage, of the kind of data that you don't really need to access anytime soon. It's called low-touch data. You're just putting it literally in cold storage.
Yeah. I mean, it's been around for a long time. Very dependable, very durable, very reliable. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It can hold a ton of data. One tape can hold between 1 million and 15 million gigabytes. Or 1 to 15 petabytes. That's a lot of stuff.
It really is.
And the problem is, and it's all relative, but they're kind of big, but not big. They're 3 inches by 3 inches, and you're like, Chuck, that's not very big at all. But that is big when you talk about, potentially billions of these things and having to store them in a place that is, like you said, cold storage. So it's the cost of building these cold storage buildings that is the issue when it comes to this 3 by 3 inch thing.
That, and then also, they've been around for 3/4 of a century, so we know they last that long if you keep them in cold storage, but we don't know exactly how long they will last. So there's also a question of that. So that combined with, cost, questions about how long it will last, and then also just the enormous amounts of information we're adding every year are making people look for other ways to encapsulate data, to encode data in ways that are cheaper, that are smaller, that are require less money to keep cold. And what they've come up with, Chuck, for anybody who has looked at the title of this episode, they won't be very surprised, but DNA.
That's right. I know it's early, but we got to take a break right there, right?
Agreed.
All right. We'll be right back.
We've all had the experience of calling a business and just wanting to talk to a real person. Not an automated voice pretending to be human, an actual person who can listen and understand and offer help.
That's exactly what you can do with Ruby. Ruby is the virtual receptionist company that takes care of your callers when you're unavailable in the middle of something or simply don't want to pick up.
That's right. They can answer, screen, transfer calls. They can take messages, collect payments, book appointments, and more, all while making the people you serve feel special.
And best of all, it can help you be more productive. For example, 9 out of 10 lawyers who use Ruby log more billable hours per day than the national average.
And other professionals like plumbers and technicians win more customers while being able to stay focused on the job. But whatever kind of small business you run, Ruby is built to save you time, earn you more customers or clients, and make meaningful connections with the people you serve.
It's available 24/7, 365 days a year, and 100% based in the U.S. See why more than 15,000 small businesses use Ruby. Visit ruby.com, or better yet, call them at 844-900-RUBY.
The springtime thaw is finally here. Flowers are blooming, days are longer. We're saying yes to more plans and finally getting outside, running, walking, just moving again. It's the perfect time to upgrade your everyday go-tos with Bombas. Take Bombas sports socks. They're super comfortable and designed with sport-specific tech for running, cycling, yoga, hiking, you name it. I use them to run in, and I can tell you they work beautifully. So head over to bombas.com and use code SYSK for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com, code SYSK at checkout.
All right, so you dropped a pretty big truth bomb on everyone. I'm sure there were people that for 60 seconds were like, what? Storing data on DNA, dude, that's in my body. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you talking about? Putting data in my body?
You got that straight.
You don't have that straight, but here's a pretty good, as far as how much this stuff can hold. This is pretty staggering stuff, and this is from a couple of dudes from the Los Alamos National Lab. And I think you got it from Scientific American. Mm-hmm. Here's how much DNA can hold. 74 million bytes of information, which is basically the Library of Congress.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. You can put that, if you were putting it on DNA, into the size of something as big as a poppy seed 6,000 times over.
Right.
Said another way, if you split that seed in half, you could store all of the data on Facebook.
Yeah, and then by 2025, the size of the data that humanity's generated, it will reach an estimated 33 zettabytes. So it's 3.3 followed by 22 zeros of bytes of information.
That's a lot of bytes.
If you can transcribe that all into DNA, you could fit the whole thing into a ping pong ball.
Yeah.
Not a 3x3 plastic cartridge multiple times over. A single ping pong ball could hold all of the world's data. And you can make multiple ping pong balls as backups, too.
Yeah, and you don't need to, and it's pretty easy to duplicate them, apparently. And you don't need to keep them in the fridge, even though you could put it in an egg carton.
Sure.
And be set. You don't even have to. It's going to last a long time. Not being in cold storage, and probably even longer in cold storage.
You could give a ping pong ball to every living human to keep in their fridge, and it would have no problem whatsoever. Be like, here, you keep this cold for 150 years.
And only half of them would eat that ping pong ball thinking it was an egg.
Yeah. So you'd still be left with all those backups.
Here's where it gets super interesting, though, because as most people listening probably are, like I said, as I was reading this, I was like, okay, that's a cool idea, but like, how in the world does this work? And it turns out that it's not that mind-blowing or difficult. I'm not saying I could go out and do it,
right?
But it makes a lot of sense to wrap your head around because DNA, as we all know, is composed of 4 nucleotides, or at least combinations of guanine, thymine, adenine, and cytosine. Just remember GTAC. And
Gattaca.
Yeah. Ironically. All this digital data, though, is included that's out there in the world, and as everyone knows, in ones and zeros. Mm-hmm. So it's it sounds like, and it can be any combination of ways, but when you really break it down, it's really, you can either just have 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, or 1, 1 as far as those combinations go. And that's 4 things. And there are those 4 nucleotides. So if you just say, hey, each one of these nucleotides is going to be assigned a different number, then that's all you need. There's the key to your map.
Yeah. So say adenosine stands for 0, 0. And guanine stands for 1, 1. and so forth. Each one stands for one of those pairs of possible combinations. Then you can take any string of binary data, zeros and ones, and turn it into genetic code based on those nucleotides. So like you would just you go from a string of ones and zeros to a string of A, T, Gs, and Cs. Mm-hmm. That's it. The thing is you're not turning ones and zeros into letters. You're actually transcribing the ones and zeros from binary code into physical genetic material. You're actually putting a base of adenosine right there. You're putting a base of thymine next to it. Like, depending on how the code reads with the ones and the zeros and what order they're in, you're actually physically creating genetic material, DNA. But rather than encoding the information to building a living thing, you're encoding the information to the entire catalog of stuff you should know. And honestly, isn't that the first thing we should preserve in DNA?
Sure.
Good.
After the movies of Gene Wilder.
How about at the same time as the movies of Gene Wilder? Can we just agree to that?
How dare you?
Hey, I think highly of us and Gene Wilder.
I don't know why he's been on my mind lately, but he has been.
He's been shaking it for you in your head?
He's been shaking it for me. So this all sounds great. And like I mentioned at the very beginning, this is one of those things where you're like, holy cow, this is the future. This is it. And then the oh at the end. And the oh is that it's really expensive to do this. Like we can do this. We figured out how to do this. It's possible. We have the tech to do this. But that here's a tape name, LTO-9. It's a magnetic storage tape. You can get it for $8 and you can get 1 petabyte of storage. Mm-hmm. That would cost you about $1 trillion to do for DNA.
Yeah, there was a guy who was interviewed in Ars Technica named Hyun-Jun Park. He's the CEO of a data storage company called Catalog. And he even estimated, he said, let's say it costs you 3 cents to print a single nucleotide. Yes, that's cheap, but for each base pair, now you're up to 6 cents, and then now you're translating gigabytes. You're entering millions of dollars. So if it costs millions of dollars to translate a gigabyte, it costs trillions of dollars to do a petabyte. And the other problem of it too, Chuck, is that it's really, really slow, right?
It's super slow. So this is a clear case of one of those things, like you mentioned, which is like, just wait. Because like with any technology, it's going to get quicker. It's going to get cheaper. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is like 100 years into the future, but
I don't think
at this point, the cost is just so outrageous that there's no government is going to fund something like this.
I mean, $1 trillion for 1 petabyte of information is not. You're not going to sell that very, very easily. And then, yeah, like I was saying, the speed. If you're transferring information from one of those magnetic storage tapes, mm-hmm. you're transferring it about 1 gigabyte per second, typically. If it takes even like a second to print a single nucleotide, which is mm-hmm. still, it's very fast, but we're thinking on human level fast. We need to think on like how many ones and zeros are in the average gigabyte of code. Now you're talking about decades to transfer a petabyte disk's worth of information using DNA technology.
Yeah.
So yes, it's very slow right now. It's very expensive right now. But I don't think we're 100 years off, Chuck, because we're able to do this now relatively cheaply because the Human Genome Project came along. That was 20 years ago. Think about how far we've come. And this is like the hardest chunk, the first 20 years. Yeah. I think it's just going to get faster and easier. I don't think we're going to be waiting 100 years to see DNA data storage.
Does that mean that stuff you should know is in the hardest chunk? When you're 15?
I think so. Yeah, it feels like it.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Well, I'm teasing Chuck, right?
Yeah.
Just teasing, which means, of course, short stuff is out.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.